Applying and Interviewing for Employment, Chapter 19. Learning Objectives. Explain the purpose of application letters and describe how the NIAIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action, organizational approaches to them. Describe the typical sequence of job interviews, the major types of interviews, and the attributes employers look for during an interview. List the 6 tasks you need to complete to prepare for a successful interview. Explain how to succeed in all 3 stages of an interview. Identify the most common employment messages that follow an interview, and explain when you will use each one. Submitting your resume. Adapt your application letter to each job opening and situation. As the proposals, the best approach for an application letter depends on whether your application is solicited or unsolicited. Resist the temptation to stand out with gimmicky application. Instead, impress them with knowledge and professionalism. Complementing your resume with an application message. Use this opportunity to complement the information already contained in your resume by highlighting the qualifications with the needs of the position without repeating the information on your resume. Application message. Your opening paragraph of your application letter needs to clearly convey the reason you're writing and giving the recipient a compelling reason for them to keep on reading. Use the middle section of your application letter to expand on your opening and present a more complete picture of your strengths. Tips on getting attention in application letters. Unsolicited application letters show how your strongest skills will benefit them. Describe your understanding of the job requirements and how well your qualification fits them. Mention the name of a person that you know is highly recommended and regarded to them by the reader. Use a question to demonstrate your understanding of the organizational needs. Tips on getting attention in the application letters. Solicited application letters. Identify where you discover the job opening. Describe what you have to offer the organization. Understanding the interviewing process. This is a time of exchanging of information. The employer's objective is to find the best fit for the position. Start preparing for your interview in advance. Consider a wide range of options. The typical sequence of interviews. The screening stage. This stage filters out unqualified or otherwise not a good fit for the position. The selection stage. This stage helps organizations identify top candidates from all those who qualify. Types of interviews. Structured versus unstructured interviews. A structured interview helps employers identify those candidates who don't meet basic job criteria. An open-end interview, the interviewer adapts their line of questioning based on the answers the applicant gives. Types of interviews continue. Panel interview. Meet with several interviewers at once. A group interview. One or more interviewers meet with several candidates simultaneously. A key purpose of this group interview is to observe how candidates interact. Behavioral interview. Asked to relate specific incidents and experiences from your past. A situational interview are questions on how you would handle various hypothetical situations on the job. A working interview. Required to perform a job-related activity during the interview, or solve a business-related problem, or even possibly role-playing. A stress interview. You are asked questions that's purpose is to unsettle you, combined with things like long periods of silence, criticism, or even interruptions. Interview media. Expect to be interviewed through a variety of media, such as telephone, instant messaging, viral online systems, video conferencing, along with standard face-to-face interviews. Pre-employment testing and background checks. Integrity tests. These are tests that attempt to measure how truthful and trustworthy the application is. A personality test gauges such aspects of attitude towards work, interest, material, and managerial potential, dependability, and commitment and motivation. Cognitive test measures processing skills and ability to analyze, using, and remembering information. Pre-employment testing and background checks continue. Language proficiency tests the ability to read and write proficiency. Job knowledge and job skills test measure the applicant's ability to perform a particular position or function. Substance test is drug and alcohol testing, and background checks are included criminal checks, credit records, and education verification. Preparing for a job interview demonstrates an understanding of the company's operation, its markets, and its strategic and tactical challenges. Do backgrounds on the interviewers if possible, and use that information to assist you throughout the interview if possible. Plan ahead for employers' questions. Many general interviews questions are stock queries that you can expect to hear again and again throughout the interview, like, what was the hardest decision you ever had to make? Or what is your greatest weakness? Where did you want to be in 5 years from now? What didn't you like about your last job you held? Or tell us something about yourself? Or how do you spend your free time? Planning questions on your own. Remember, an interview is a two-way conversation. The questions you ask are just as important as the ones that you are asked. By taking insightful questions, you demonstrate an understanding of the organization. Interviewers respect you and questions, and if you don't, they look upon them. Boost your confidence and polish your interview style. Remember, you as a future employee will be a valuable asset to the organization. Competence and confidence are keys to successful interview. Presenting a professional image. Clothing and grooming say a lot about an applicant and their professionalism. Wear the proper business attire. Make sure your outfit is clean and pressed. Your appearance speaks a lot about you. For a more formal environment, a conservative business suit, and for women, that means no exposed midriffs, short skirts, or plunging necklines. Be ready when you arrive to your interview. First thing, you need to turn off your cell phone. Items to bring with you to an interview are things such as a small notebook and pen, a list of questions you are going to ask, several copies of your resume in a protected folder, and an outline of what you have learned about the organization. Also, any past correspondence about the position. Be ready when you arrive to your interview. Continue. Other items you may need to bring are a small calendar, transcripts of your college grades, a list of references, a portfolio of some of your sample work, performance reviews, certificates, achievements, and awards. The question and answer stage. Let the interviewer lead the conversation and never answer before they are finished asking the question. Avoid one-word answers such as yes or no. Instead, use the stun to expand on a positive response and explain a negative response. You may be asked a question in which you can't answer. It may be a test to see how you can react under pressure or whether you construct a logical approach to solving that question. The question and answer stage continues. Pay attention when the interviewer speaks. This can be as important as giving a good answer. Watch the interviewer's expressions, eye movement, gestures, postures, because this may all tell you the real meaning of what is being said. Handling potentially discriminatory questions. These questions are off limits. Race, age, religion, color, place of birth, disability, marital status, and children. If an interviewer asks you a potentially unlawful question, consider your options carefully before responding. You can either answer the question as it was asked, or you can tactfully ask whether the question might be prohibited, or simply just refuse to answer it. The close. Like the warm-up, the end of an interview is more important than its brief duration would indicate. The last few minutes is your final opportunity to emphasize your value to the organization and to correct any misconceptions the interviewer might have. Concluding, gracefully continue. If this was your second or third interview, the interviewer may offer you a position. If you have other offers, it is acceptable to ask you to take a little time to think about it.